Okay, so we're now looking at calculating the mean, but this time from a grouped frequency table. And it's different to before because now, if we looked at the previous video, right, when you had your, in this case, number of goals, it was just like certain values. It was like exact values. So it's like just, it has to be 0, it has to be 1. But now it's grouped because you've got a range of values. So for example, age here, you've got between two values. You've got between 0 and 4, between 5 and 9, 10 and 14, 15 and 19. So it is saying here that there were 7 people aged between 0 and 4. And the issue here is you don't know exactly how old they would be because they could have been between 0 and 4. They could have been 1.5 years old. They could have been 2 years old. They could have been 3 years old. So, you know, if we do 7 of them, they could have been 4. They could have been 0. They could have been 1.3 years old. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it could have been 2 years old again. So the issue with this is, right, we don't know what the exact values are. But the benefit is, right, if you've got like a big data set, you know, if you're going to write down the age of every single person going from 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 19, your table is going to be absolutely massive. Okay, so if you went down to 19, it's just going to be enormous. So it's got its benefits and its cons as well. Now it's going to be an estimate because when you do this, okay, you've got to go and use the midpoint of your group data, 0 and 4. It's the middle value. So what's halfway between 0 and 4? It's going to be 2. Halfway between 5 and 9, it's going to be 7. Halfway between 10 and 14, it's going to be 12. With 19, it's going to be equal to 17. So what you've had to do here is you've had to say, well, I'm just going to say because 2 is in the middle of 0 and 4, that seems like the sensible thing to do. So I'm saying that the age of 2 occurs 7 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now what this is going to end up doing is it means that your actual value is going to be an estimate because you're kind of just estimating the middle value to be 2. Okay, but that's what's going on here. And then similarly here, you're now saying, well, 5 and 9, the middle value is 7. That's going to be like the middle range, which makes sense to use that. And that occurs 8 times. Okay, and you keep writing this out 8 times. And that is what's going on again with this table. Okay, but that's the same thing as before. You can go and do the value and you can times it by your frequency. So for example, 7 times 2 gives you that 14. Okay, because it's saying, well, if you add all of these 2's together, you get 14. Similarly, if you go and do 8 times by 7, you get 56. If you add all of these 7's together, you get 56. And we keep going. Okay, 3 times 12, you get 36. 12 by 17 is a bit of a big one, actually. Excuse me, calculator. 12 times 17 is equal to 204. Okay, but the same principle applies to find the mean. You still add up all of your data points, which is going to be this part all added up together. Okay, so that's going to be whatever that's equal to. So we can go and do 14, add 56, add 36, add 204 is equal to 310. That's the total of all your things added together. So 310. And you're dividing by your total frequency, which is 7, add 8 is 15, add 3 is 18, add 20 is going to be equal to 30. So you're doing 310 divided by 30, which is equal to 10.3 recurring. So 10.3 recurring is your answer for this one to the mean. Does that make rough sense? Yeah, because if you look at the frequencies, they're kind of, you know, it's distributed roughly about right. It's going to be about roughly there. That sounds pretty good to me. Okay, so you can pause the video and you can now try the your turn. And again, the issue here is, of course, it's grouped, so you've got values between 0 and 2. So to be able to do this, we're going to use the middle value, which is going to be 1 in this case. Okay, between 3 and 5, we're going to go and use 4. Between 6 and 8, we're going to go and use 7. We're going to go and use 10 here. And your total frequency, we add all of those together, it's going to be 12, 24, and then 34. And then to get this one, we go and times these two together. So we're going to get 9 times those, 12 times these. 12 by 7 is 84. And then 10 times 10 is equal to 100. And we can add all those together, which is going to be equal to 205. Now, to get the mean, we can go and divide the total of everything added up by how many data points there are, which are these two values here. So the mean is going to be equal to 205 divided by 34, and that is equal to one decimal place. It's going to be 6.0294, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to say it's approximately equal to 6, and that's going to be fine. Okay, by rounding it to the nearest whole number. There we go. Does that look about right? Yeah, it looks pretty good because 6 is kind of, it's in this one, isn't it? So it looks pretty good to me. It looks reasonable as the average value. Now, I've got another my turn, your turn here. It's the same idea again, but just this time you're being given the group data in inequality notation. Okay, and all this means is, right, for example, age here, it is saying the age is bigger than 1, but less than or equal to 4. Okay, so that's what it means, saying it's between 1 and 4. Here it is saying your age is between 5 and 8, your age is between 9 and 10, between 11 and 14. But it works in the same way as before. Okay, so you want to go and find your midpoint initially between 1 and 4, which is going to be, well, if we look at this one, we've got 1, which is here, and we've got 4 over here. Now, the difference here between these two is a difference of 3. Okay, and half of 3 is 1.5. So you've got to go and add 1.5 to 1, which is going to be 2.5. So that's fine. The midpoint here is going to be 2, 2.5. Okay. And similarly here, between 5 and 8, the midpoint is going to be 6.5. Between 9 and 10, it's going to be 9.5. Between 11 and 14, it's going to be 12.5. And again, the total frequency, we're going to add these together. So 17, 24, and then 34, 38. So 38 is your total frequency. And then to get the sum of all these added together, we go and times these two together. So 5 times 2.5 is 12.5. 12 times 6.5 is going to be equal to, I think 78. Let's double check it. Yeah, 78, good. And then 7 by 9.5 is going to be equal to 66.5. 14 times 12.5 is going to be equal to 175. And there we go. Okay, I've just times these all together in the same way as I've done before. Just different notation, really, just being aware of that. Now I go and add these all together. It's going to be giving me 78 add 66.5 add 175 gives me 332. Now the mean is the sum of everything added together divided by your total number of things, your total frequency. So the mean is going to be equal to 332 divided by 38, and that is equal to 8.7 to 1 decimal place. So rounded to 1 decimal place, 8.7. And does that look pretty reasonable? Yeah, it does, because it's going to be kind of in this. It's going to be, yeah, this is roughly in the middle, isn't it? Now, actually, I'm not too happy with this table because I've got it from somewhere. The issue with this is, right, this means less than or equal to 4, and this means bigger than 5. So if you were like aged 4.5, for example, if you were 4.5 years old, you wouldn't actually fit into any of these categories. Really, this should be saying greater than 4. That means less than or equal to 4, so you do include 4. That means greater than 4, so you go just above 4, so 4.0001 basically. So actually this table, I'm going to ignore it for this video because it's not the end of the world, but really, right, there's a bit of an issue with this. It should be a 4 here, because if you do 5, you're forgetting out people that are between 4 and 5 basically, because that means you include 4. That means you go just above 5, so that should really be saying 4 there. But anyway, don't worry. I'm not going to worry too much about that for the time being. It's not perfect, but we'll deal with it. Okay. Anyway, you can now give this one a go. Pause the video, and then you can fast forward to the end to see the answer. But let's just quickly whiz through this one because we know the method now. So the midpoint is between 2 and 3 here, which is going to be 2.5. The midpoint between 4 and 7 is going to be 5.5. Midpoint between 8 to 11 is going to be 9.5. And between 12 and 13 is going to be 12.5. Now, we need the total frequency. We're going to add these together, which is going to give you 29. I think 11, 21. Good. And then we can go and times these all together. So 4 times 2.5 is going to give you 10. 7 times 5.5 is going to be 38.5. Let me just double check. Yeah, 38.5. You've then got 10 times by 9.5 is 95. 8 times by 12.5 is going to be 100, of course. And then you can add these together to get your total, the sum of everything added together, which is equal to 243.5. So the mean is going to be equal to the sum of those added together by your total frequency. So I've just forgotten what that was equal to. 29, wasn't it? 11, 21, 29. So I can do, what's happened there? It should be a 243.5. So it's going to be 243.5 divided by 29 is equal to whatever it's equal to. 243.5 divided by 29 is equal to, if we round it, it's about 8.4 to 1 decimal place. And that is your answer. That's your mean. Does it look roughly right? Yeah, it looks roughly about right. It's in the middle of your data. And that is it for mean from grouped frequency tables. Thank you for watching.